So I'm gonna give you a background on his video in case you didn't see it or whatever. Or in case you don't remember. He first says Orton is the biggest heel and the WWE champion. So he talks about how injuring the WWE champion is bad, and I don't think in WWE they have a real priority on that. Like, injuring everybody is bad, not only the WWE champion.
I never once said that Orton's injury is worse as far as a personal perspective, is worse than anybody else. But for a storyline perspective, it is worse because Orton is the guy that's running with the title. The main title of the company, the title that you are pushing as the main title of the company. And if he gets injured, then they're going to have to scrounge up and do something with that title. Especially if Orton is seriously injured to a point where he can't compete in another match until he is properly healed. Kind of see where that goes?
So anyways, let me give my opinion on this. Okay, first, if WWE had no champion, I would see Triple H coming back to help his company. Monoxide, you have said before that Triple H uses his relations with the boss and his marriage to Stephanie to get the title, which may or may not be true. But wouldn't he use this opportunity to get the title again?
Again, this point is very flawed because how do you think Triple H got that vacation in the first place? Most likely he got that vacation so that he can spend time with his daughters. He's only been on vacation for a month, and I think he's going to take a couple more months off to spend time with his daughters and Stephanie McMahon. So why would he just all of a sudden run out and go win the WWE title? Not only that, it's still, even if, let's just say he could do that, again, it wouldn't make sense for storyline purposes because of the fact that Triple H has now been shelved. So now he's losing credibility, not amazingly too much credibility to a point where he's like no chance in hell of being a world champion, but now he's being sidelined, so now he has to work his way up there again. Although, yeah, he can use his politics, but he used his politics to go back to vacation so that he could spend time with his daughters and his wife. I don't think there is going to be any time where he's just going to go on up and go back to the WWE just to win the WWE title. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Okay. Monoxide said, you can't give it to Cena because he's in a storyline with Big Show. You know what? I just had a great idea. WWE hasn't done this in like a month. How about you involve the WWE title in this storyline?
Again, very flawed point, because their feud does not involve a title. It involves a personal grudge against each other. And plus, Cena has been pushed down out of that main event spot so that he could help not just Big Show, but The Miz as well. If he gets pushed into a storyline where it involves the title, then they're going to have to interlock Miz into that, which Miz is not ready for, seeing as they're trying to push him right now. You still got to elevate The Miz before you can have any confidence in him whatsoever that he's going to be able to interact with that WWE title match. Again, very flawed point. Cena and Big Show right now have a personal feud that involves more than just the title. It's just the fact that Big Show harmed John Cena. You interact the title in there, then all of that grudge, that personal crap, is now wasted. So, because now they're just going to be worrying about the title rather than personal grudge. So again, very flawed point, and it doesn't make any sense on why you would just, and not only that, why would you just drop the title right into the laps? There's got to be some kind of story as to why the title is now involved in their situation. That, again, is a very flawed point.
Then Monoxide then realizes that people will make comments saying, what about Batista? So he says it in a way that will make you feel like an idiot if you say yes to his question, even though what he says has no real backup facts. He says, do you really want to see Batista as champion again? Come on. So he's saying it in a kind of negative tone that makes you feel like a moron if you really want Batista in the main event and if you're considering that. So, yeah.
Kid, I don't know who you are. This is the first video I've seen of you. I've been with the YWC, the YouTube wrestling community, for approximately 2 to 3 years. And there is not one fan on here, as far as the real, like, diehard fan that wants Batista back in that main event spot. The problem with Batista is that after he lost the title to The Undertaker 2 years back, they've done nothing but juggle him into the main event, having him lose every title shot. That is why I said, do you really want Batista to win the title, seeing as the majority of us fans do not like Batista as far as the YWC goes. Do the casual fans like him? Sure, why not? He's got a presence to him. He's not that boring. I mean, he can be boring sometimes, but he's not boring like Goldberg boring. He's actually got a presence to him. He's got somewhat of a personality. That could be debated, but that's a whole different topic. As far as whether we like, whether he's actually talented or not, whether he's got a character. Here's where the problem comes in. Batista is legitimately the only one that can hold that title for the time being. The problem is, who do you have him face? Who do you have him defend the title against? There's nobody. He can hold the title, but there's nobody to face him for it. Nobody legitimate. But we'll get to that point because you start talking about guys that you think could be in the title picture.
Alright. What about the other people on Raw, though, that you didn't mention? You could give people pushes, like MVP. I could see him in the main event. They've already been pushing him on Raw. They could put him in the main event. What about the former world champion on the roster that you didn't even mention? Matt Hardy. Yes, you can argue that he's an upper mid-carder, but, he's proven that he could be in the main event. By being on ECW, he's proven that he could be in the main event.
Dude, the problem with those two names are just so laughable, it's not even funny. MVP is still on the rise. MVP is still trying to get that push so that he looks like a legitimate main eventer. He's been working with main eventers, but he still has more work to get up there. He has the potential to, but he definitely is not there yet. He can't hold the title right now. He still needs a couple victories off of some big names. He's gotten the wins off of mid-carders and upper-carders. Now he needs to get wins off of past veterans or main eventers currently. So that's a problem. As for Matt Hardy, he's only proven to be a main eventer within ECW, which is the third brand, the C Show. Alright? By the way, he's in a feud. He's in a pointless feud right now with William Regal and Vicky Guerrero. But they're going to continue with that, I guess. That's what it was shown on Raw, that Matt Hardy's being treated unequal. So you still got to work on Matt Hardy. You can't just slap them the title and expect them to be, oh, they are the main eventers. They are not main eventers yet. You have to build them. It's like you can't give Funaki the title and say, okay, you're the champion now, let's see you run with it. No. What you would have to do is take Funaki out of his comedy gimmick. I'm just coming with a cliche idea here. Have him win, or get off of the Kung Funaki gimmick, have him turn serious and be like, you fans laughed at me, and now I'm going to be serious because actually being serious is going to get me somewhere. Have him win over a couple jobbers, have him in a prolonged feud with a mid-carder, get over there, then go, let's see, a mid-carder, like Evan Bourne. Let's just say, I'm just throwing a name out there in the water. It doesn't have to be Evan Bourne. But someone like Evan Bourne, prolong that so that it puts both of them over. Then Funaki goes up against an upper mid-carder like CM Punk, again, just throwing any name out there. And then having a prolonged feud with him so that he can look better. And then maybe a prolonged feud with a veteran such as Finlay or Chris Jericho, and then you can finally progress him into the main event status to go up against the world champion. And then when he wins the world title, he can be looked at as a world champion. Alright? Whether the fans hate him or love him, they can take it as, if they love him, oh my God, it's a mark-out moment. He finally won the gold. Or, God damn, he won the gold. I can't wait till the day that he loses it. You can't just slap him the title, because then people are not going to hate it. They're not going to love it. They're just going to be confused as to why they were given the title. And they're just going to scratch their heads and be like, does he really fit the world title? I mean, come on. I mean, I'll get to the end of the video, but this is where I stopped watching your video to make the debunking. So I'm going to watch the rest of your video, or we're going to play the rest of your video, just to see what other points you make. But if you don't bring it up, I've got a point to make at the end of this video. So let's continue with yours video.
I'm sure if they needed help with another main eventer, they would bring someone from another brand to Raw, possibly CM Punk, because of the Money in the Bank. If he cashes in the Money in the Bank for the WWE title on Raw, there you go. You just made a new champion and someone that could be in the main event.
You don't seem to realize your own flaws in your own video. I mean, you pointed that I made flaws, but your flaws are absolutely worse than mine, and I'm trying to say that as respectful as I can. Because I don't know you, I can't hate you, because I don't know you, I haven't talked to you long enough, or gotten a grasp of your debating skills in order to understand who you are and why I should either A, just continue with you, or B, continue to talk to you and see if we can get somewhere. Because this point is obviously flawed. And you're probably thinking to yourself, why? CM Punk, Money in the Bank. Here's the problem. He's in a feud with Umaga right now. Okay, you're going to probably bring up the excuse, oh, bring the title there, or cut the feud off. Here's the problem. The reason why that feud is happening is to regain Umaga's momentum and keep CM Punk's momentum steady. It's helping both guys at the moment. You can't just break that off. You need Umaga's help. I mean, Umaga was one of the top heels, and he got injured again after coming back. And I think he was face, I don't know. But he came back again, and now he needs momentum. So how do you do that? You need him to feud with somebody. Who's there to feud with? Oh my goodness, CM Punk, the guy who just won the Money in the Bank. The guy who almost beat Kane. So you need to give him momentum. You can't just slap CM Punk into that main event status. And plus, you would have to book it so that CM Punk doesn't look like he is just a worthless champion, which he did the last time. Because he beat Edge after Edge had just been getting his ass kicked by Batista, and then he had a terrible, terrible title run. Alright? WWE doesn't know how to use CM Punk. So there you go. That's a flaw. And not only that, even with that, as far as the booking goes, right now they're trying to regain his momentum, or keep his momentum steady, and trying to regain Umaga's momentum. So you can't just pull him out of that.
Oh, and I just want to note this too. Everything that people are saying are all rumors. We do not know yet if Kennedy got released because he almost hurt Randy Orton. We do not know that they had a heated backstage argument. These are all rumors from spoiler sites. What about the other rumor that people were believing in, that he hurt his wrist, but then when they saw the video, that when Kennedy was owning all of them by showing his wrists weren't hurt, basically they didn't want to say anything. So
dude, again, you're going off and saying that it's a rumor. Not every rumor is false, alright? Yeah, there are rumors, but there are rumors that are true. And this seems to be the case, because it has been confirmed by these same websites that you have been talking about. And even if, let's just say you are telling the truth, and that this is just some silly rumor that was created, then it just brings my justification into my point that Kennedy's release was justified. Because, again, we still don't know why he got released. Maybe WWE didn't want to renew his contract. Maybe Kennedy was an asshole backstage. I don't know. I've never met the guy. I will not comment on him as far as that goes. But as far as Kennedy goes, I mean, again, he was injury prone, and he had gotten suspended or caught doing steroids right after the Chris Benoit tragedy. That was the reason for their drug test, because of the Chris Benoit tragedy. And Kennedy lied about it. Now, you could say that there were other people that lied about it, but this is after the Chris Benoit story, where WWE were getting fucking raped up their ass with this crap. So they really had to be careful. And Kennedy really screwed that up by lying. Alright? My faith was lost in him when he got that other injury last year, before he came back last week. Alright? So again, you're just bringing more justification into my belief that his release was more justified. So, I'm sorry, but again, it could be a rumor, it could be false, but not all rumors are false.
Let me just get to the last point. Monoxide says that he has to fix being injury prone. How do you do that? I mean, you can't tell your body, stop getting injured. I mean, it's a whether your body can handle the grueling schedule. I mean, they work 300 days a year, and for Kennedy, he just kept on getting injured.
Dude, when you weightlift or you train, you're supposed to train every part of your body. The hands, the arms, the legs, everything. You can't leave a limb out. Most likely, Kennedy left the limb out in training. And even if, let's just say my point is completely bizarre, because I can't really describe it, but me and Crazy Mike had to talk about this, that there are certain body parts that people don't work on, and because they don't work on that, they are more likely to injure that body part. But let's just say that's just some stupid thing that me and Mike were talking about. Notice how he was getting injured constantly after he had gotten caught with the steroids. Do you think the steroids had anything to do with it? Because, quite frankly, ever since the steroids, he's been getting injured like crazy. Okay, granted, Morrison hadn't gotten injured like crazy, but Umaga was getting injured like crazy. Think about that. Umaga was getting injured like crazy. So steroids may have played a part into Kennedy getting injured crazily, and him getting off the steroids could have made him a little bit weaker. Maybe not weaker, but more fragile as to injuries. So there you go. I mean, we don't know how he's injury prone, but being injury prone, no matter if you can fix it or not, is a problem, and that's probably one of the reasons that got the lead to his release.
Monoxide, I would like for you to try to comment back or respond back, because I really want my side heard, basically.
Well, you got your side heard, and quite frankly, you did nothing to debunk my points. In fact, some of your points just made my points stronger. Again, I'm not trying to disrespect you, nor am I trying to be arrogant. I'm trying to be as respectful as possible, because if I didn't want to, I could just outlash you immaturely. Alright? Let me bring to you my point that I talked about earlier that I wanted to make at the end of this video, since you didn't seem to bring it up. One guy, I won't name him because he's very naive, said that if Orton got injured, they should hold a tournament, and Ted DiBiase could be one of the guys to win it. Brings back to my point about Funaki, or trying to give someone a title. You can't just hand someone the title and expect them to be put over. Because he feels that if Ted DiBiase Jr. would have went in there, won the tournament, he would have been put over, and he would have been a believable world champion. That doesn't work that way. You have to look legitimate. See, when Edge got injured back in 07, in mid-07, and they needed a replacement champion, who else did they have? They had the Great Khali. And he called me naive for mentioning the Great Khali or defending the Great Khali. Look at how he was. He was hated like crazy at that time. Not only that, he looked like a legitimate monster. And not only that, guess how he won it? In the match that is freaking got the biggest advantage for giants. And at that time, Khali was the biggest guy there, because Big Show was gone for that period. Alright? So Khali winning was believable. Did people like it? Probably not, but it was believable. He was the only believable guy to win it, with the exception of Batista. But there you go again, which brings up to my original point. At least when Khali won it, he had somebody to go after him for that title. Whereas if Batista wins it, after Orton gets injured, there's nobody to face him. You can't just grab somebody and say, okay, you're going to feud with this guy. No one's going to believe it. No one's going to buy into it. Things have to make sense, alright? This is the wrestling world, and there are things that don't make sense. But those are itty-bitty things, like Carlito and Primo being enemies one week, and then 2 weeks later, the fucking tag team. That's a whole different ballgame, alright? But I'm just saying, they have to be believable, or nobody's going to believe it, and no one's going to care. So, you can't just grab Ted DiBiase Jr. and make him world champion. You can't just drag Matt Hardy and make him world champion. You can't just drag MVP and make him world champion. You gotta give them credibility. You gotta build them up. You can't just hand it to them. They're not gonna be believable. Anyhow, this is the most respectful I can be, so take it for what you will. This is Monoxide signing off, and I still agree with the fact that Kennedy's release was justified. And if the Orton story is true, then it's even more justified that Kennedy got released. Monoxide signing off.